DESIGNxRI was an organization in spirit and idea for a number of years before we actually founded. But what really catalyzed the organization's coming together was in 2013, the Rhode Island Foundation hosted a Make It Happen conference. We were just coming out of the recession. There was a lot of frustration in the state about how the economy was really suffering.
When we heard about the Rhode Island Foundation Make It Happen event, we had already had the foundation of this business plan. We'd already been talking to people about it because we knew it was something. And so the Make It Happen was a catalyst for that. And we got together friends that we knew would be good advocates. And we said, design, design, design. Talk about it. Talk about the importance of it. When you're sitting at a table, talk about design.
What mostly drove it is that despite the recession, design was growing as a sector nationally and especially in Rhode Island, and it was something we could really celebrate. And shortly after, Rhode Island Foundation had put out grant opportunity for initiatives and ideas to really make it happen, and we got seed funding to start Design by Rhode Island.
One of the first things that we did was clam bake. And that was at Osher Dunn's studio over on Pearl Street. And we had set up what the format was going to be. And it was somewhat based on like a pachacacha. So pachacacha was very popular in Providence at the time. The idea for clam bake, the name of it came from Matt Grigsby, who said that we're in Rhode Island. It's like, what do you do at a clam bake? You throw a whole bunch of stuff together and, you get a great meal.
So you're just kind of stimulated, right? Intellectually, by the space, by the food, by whatever we're drinking. Like, it's just a kind of uplifting part of your week or month.
It's really important to have people who are non-designers, who appreciate design, who understand design, who want to celebrate design, involved in all of that as well is super important because it is affecting everybody's life. And we wanted the state of Rhode Island to know how important design is.
I think with design, because you're thinking about every element of how whatever it is that you're building is going to work, you have to listen for everything. The design thinking process is so much about feedback and reiteration, and so it creates a process that is so much more engaged and involved.
We could have built an entire overdose prevention site basically as a model with this team, but we had to really narrow it down.
We definitely have a responsibility to make sure everybody feels included in this process. We have some hurdles to work over that we can work through, but especially when it comes to substance use disorder, need to make everybody feel welcome.
They really just help us look at our brand and what we have to offer in a way where sometimes we aren't paying attention to it. Like, yeah, you guys are people conscious. You all are thinking about the future and not just like, oh, I'm trying to make money.
That is how you sustain success in business, is doing something for the community.
I think as designers who are from here locally, we understand how we can meet them halfway. Seeing like, okay, from new perspectives and personal experiences, we know what small businesses are in need of.
I'm always interested to see what backgrounds we all come from. And I think that was the first time I really started understanding that design is such a wide spectrum. And so in this program, I really got to understand that We really have a similar recipe and a similar design process, even though we have such different backgrounds in our industries.
So the need for the Equity X Design program came out of both a initiative from the Rhode Island Foundation to promote racial equity in general, and an understanding that people on the ground in the design world have been asking for better representation for decades. And so we decided to take our own crack at creating a program and a space where designers in Rhode Island could put their money where their mouth was and do a deeper dive training that was a couple steps past your 101, this is what equity could look like, and demanded of participants to take decisive action within the time they were in the program.
The Equity by Design program was a real challenge, and I knew it would be, but I don't think I understood how much self-work had to be done ahead of time to really make that program successful for yourself. It does ask a lot of difficult questions that you need to be prepared for, and that I thought I was prepared for. But the conversations and the connections you were able to make throughout that program, you became a really tight-knit community. And it still feels pretty amazing, the kind of conversations we were able to have, the realness we were able to get to very quickly, and just generally how now, a year later, I'm still referring back to some of the things that we've talked about, some of the questions that we raised, and continuing to ask myself those questions as I learn more about equity, learn more about how I can support that at my job, with my team members, and can help others through that process as well.
As an entrepreneur, you've already announced that you're going forward with a business idea. There's a time before that when you're pondering over whether you should jump in with announcing to the world that you're an entrepreneur, you have this business idea, you're going to try executing it. And there's a lot of questions in your head at that time. So I feel like having access to the same programs that you essentially get in Catalyst with the funding, but just the programs, can help you be a little more sure-footed when you start your business. Or it might just make you realize that your thoughts and your business idea is not fleshed out enough, and you might go back to the drawing board, which is a great thing. Starting at the wrong foot is never helpful, and I feel like the pre-Catalyst program helps you or ensures that you have a higher chance of starting on the right foot with your business.
After receiving the Design Catalyst grant, we were able to develop our new collections, which involved tables and mirrors, and then show them at the Architectural Digest Design Show in New York. And that is when we realized that our business was able to function, or it was a viable thing, because we were actually making sales from it after the show. Looking back at the Catalyst grant, I'd say the best thing that came out of it was the opportunity to grow my business, as well as meet other creatives in the city who we could talk to and be honest and exchange ideas and notes and critiques and essentially grow together.
Design Catalyst is such an important program because it has 4 main factors for success. It has seed funding, it has mentorship, it has professional development and training, and it has peer-to-peer connections. I think these are 4 key elements for any program to help somebody in their business grow and succeed. And I feel like if all those elements aren't present, I don't think the program is as strong.
The Catalyst program was instrumental, especially in its funding, to be able to get my business to a place of actually being a business, to be able to produce in high volumes, to be able to expand my reach, to be able to bring something to market for so many more people than I would have ever been able to before. And that funding was a springboard for me in terms of being able to get more funding, to be able to apply for lending, to be able to grow. That was proof of interest and market value as validated by the city of Providence.
I think why I'm so passionate about this is I really love helping designers, creative services people understand how to run a business. Like what does that mean? Getting over all the scary parts, because generally in a design education, you don't learn how to run a business. And so I think that as a designer myself and as somebody who runs a business, I think really meeting people where they are at and helping them to create a curriculum that was really centered around understanding creative services people, what their fears are around money and math, and just kind of not understanding, what is business and what does this mean, and helping them understand and gain clarity around what that is for them and how they want to grow and change the world through design and through what they do, and giving them the skills to really have a successful business and be able to hire other people.
I think just the fact that Design Week exists as a program of Design by Rhode Island is just huge. It exposes all of Rhode Island residents to design across the whole state and makes it something to really celebrate. It's something that I think the community loves to have and to see each other and to see the work that we're all producing and get inspired by what's happening right here.
I think DESIGNxRI is crucial to the community here in Rhode Island because design at its best is a facilitator and a mediator and a process to kind of move us forward using the materials of today to shape tomorrow.